Surprise, motherfucker.
Today, we're diving into the murky waters of Dexter, where the only thing sharper than the knives is the tension between Dexter Morgan and Sergeant James Doakes.
You give me the fucking creeps, you know that, Dexter?
Yeah, I know. Sorry about that.
Dexter and Doakes share one of the most complex and intriguing relationships in the series Dexter, which is centered around themes of suspicion, rivalry, and a cat and mouse game of sorts. Dexter is a forensic blood spatter analyst for the Miami Metro Police Department by day, but by night he is a serial killer with a strict moral code known as the Code of Harry, instilled by his adoptive father Harry Morgan. Dexter only kills people who have done the most heinous crimes and got away with it. With his natural itch to kill people, also known as his dark passenger, this stops him murdering innocent people, just the bad ones.
Open your eyes and look at what you did!
And then there's Doakes, the tough as nails sergeant who smells something fishy, and it's not just the Miami humidity. Their feud, it's like watching a chess game where one player is a serial killer and the other is a cop with a sixth sense for evil. He is a no-nonsense, highly skilled detective who is onto Dexter from the get-go, and he won't stop until he finds out the truth, even if it costs him his career or even his life. From the very beginning, Doakes is suspicious of Dexter. His instincts as a former Special Forces soldier and his keen observational skills make him naturally wary of anyone who seems too perfect or too detached. Traits Dexter exhibits due to being a bit of a psychopath. Dexter, for someone who claims to feel no emotion, is very good at playing the nice guy, even by small acts like bringing donuts to work every single day.
How the families?
Good. You?
I mean, who doesn't love donuts, right? No way this guy could be a serial killer, but Doakes doesn't buy it. Despite his suspicions, Doakes respects Dexter's expertise in blood spatter analysis, which is crucial in their line of work, and knows he couldn't solve a lot of these crimes if it wasn't for Dexter's expertise, no matter how weird he thinks the guy is. However, this respect is always overshadowed by his underlying suspicion, and he is determined to figure out what Dexter is hiding. Where does this development of suspicions come from? Doakes picks up on Dexter's odd behaviours, like his lack of emotional response in situations that would normally evoke strong reactions, whereas Dexter remains calm or even sometimes excited, especially when it comes to the sight of blood. Any normal human being would probably feel sick or even disgusted if it was their day job, but for Dexter, it's a party. He also notices Dexter's meticulousness, which he interprets as overly cautious behaviour, and also finds out he's extremely good at martial arts in this scene. Which Doakes finds extremely suspicious for a guy who just analyzes blood. I mean, anyone can do martial arts outside of the job, right? It doesn't mean they're a serial killer. The Bay Harbor Butcher case. This case becomes pivotal. Doakes starts to suspect that Dexter might be involved in the killings. The meticulousness of the Butcher's killings mirrors Dexter's methodical nature in his work. His investigation becomes more personal and intense, leading him to follow Dexter closely. Doakes confronts Dexter several times, trying to provoke a reaction or catch him off guard. He's blunt and confrontational, often trying to get under Dexter's skin, but it usually ends up the other way around. This leads to Doakes beginning to tail Dexter, watching his every move. This surveillance becomes a significant part of their dynamic, with Dexter always aware that he's being watched, which adds a layer of tension to his activities and paranoia on both sides. Especially Dexter, as he has this urge to kill which he can't seem to help, but he also doesn't want to lose his regular life by ending up in a jail cell or dead. Eventually, Doakes catches Dexter in the act of disposing of a body, but was already onto him when he found Dexter's macabre of blood slides while sneaking through his apartment. This leads to a dramatic confrontation where Dexter, knowing he can't let Doakes expose him, goes to extreme measures to keep his identity as the Bay Harbor Butcher safe. Dexter incapacitates Doakes and holds him captive in a remote location. Here, their relationship reaches its darkest point, with Doakes fully aware of Dexter's true nature, and it almost seems like he wants to help him. Dexter, on the other hand, tries to convince Doakes that he's not the monster Doakes believes him to be, whilst also keeping him subdued, hoping his usual mind games will work, but Doakes won't budge. Their saga concludes not with a bang, but with a... well, actually, it ends with a literal bang when Dexter's friend Lila, who is an absolute nutjob by the way, lets Doakes die in a cabin explosion, hoping that Dexter will love her for doing so, and all Dexter can do is stand there whilst the building goes up in flames. The serial killer wins once again. In the end, Dexter's code and Doakes' relentless pursuit of justice both represent different sides of morality, leaving viewers to question what justice really means. In their eyes, they're both doing what's right. Doakes is doing his job as a detective, trying to take down a serial killer and make Miami a safer place. However, on the other side, Dexter is doing what he's been conditioned to do, but also thinks he's doing the right thing by killing people who have done the worst of crimes, which some would argue is okay. Does Dexter belong behind bars, or do you think what he does is okay? Let me know in the comments. For Dexter, dealing with Doakes is about survival. Not just of his secret identity, but also of his moral code, which forbids killing innocents, putting him in a moral dilemma. The relationship between Dexter and Doakes is a study in contrasts, where each character's actions and reactions are deeply influenced by their personal codes and the inherent conflict between them. They both want to do good, but their definitions of good are completely different. This dynamic adds layers of complexity to the narrative, making their interactions some of the most compelling in the series, with most people saying the first 2 seasons were the best and they still wish Doakes was around. I hope you enjoyed this video. Hit that subscribe button if you did, it's free. Let me know what you think in the comments of the dynamic between Dexter and Doakes and who you think is in the right. Remember that in the game of life, sometimes the best defense is a good offense, or a really sharp knife if you're Dexter Morgan.